Oh dear. Anyway, so what I've just done, basically, is that's the length of our table runner. Yeah, I have just rolled in. Where's my middle? There's my middle. And when we start to quilt, top quilt, a quilt or a table runner, no, there's my middle actually. So, and it depends on how much space you've got under your needle, how far you want to go. So I want to work on this patch, so it's this one that's got to come in a bit more. Okay, because you need to quilt from the inside out, okay, like everything else, because otherwise if you start quilting one end, I told you it shrinks. So you need to start in the middle so that you've got equal shrinkage as you work out. So there's my middle seam, yeah, and that's the first thing I'm going to quilt on. So I roll up my edges in this fashion to go under my needle. Alright, so now we're actually going to do the top quilting. I could just move some of my stuff and get me to my pedal. Right, this is, I just see if you can see my fingers, yeah. This is a stitch in the ditch foot, okay, yeah, yours may look different, but the main part of it is, you see this blade that's going through the middle, yeah, and that will allow you to keep a straight line as long as your needle is lined up very much on the back of it. So if I just, and this is not a walking foot, I prefer to use a walking foot myself, but I just want to show those new people that may have this foot but didn't know about it, right? So stitch in the ditch if I need to move this up nice and big, so get right underneath. Here is my bit, my other bit has just rolled off. Well, that doesn't matter if you've got, you know, but I got this bit rolled up so that I can fit it under my needle without too much of a problem, okay, because we're only working on this line. Now, stitch in the ditch basically means that there's that's high, that's high, that's high, that's high, so the other bit is low. So when you know, obviously we gotta start at the beginning, let your foot down, yeah, and then I always check my position foot. Yeah, it's probably going to show. Oh, a minute. Yeah, I'll go back. Right. There he is, and it's going to sit down just in the valley that blade that's in the middle of the foot is making, okay? Now, when we quilt on top, I'm using a kind of blush on top and white underneath, alright? Because this stitch, if we're doing this sort of quilting, we don't want it to show. The other thing I would recommend, these are a brand new pair, right? They are quilter's gloves. I don't know whose manufacturer this is, but they have rubber on the inside, yeah? And so they're you know, quilter's gloves for grabbing all the fabric when we come to do this sort of thing. And that's a brand new pair. I got a really old pair, which really should go in, you know, I should wash them. I was chatting to Amy Weisner, and she's from Amy Quilts, yeah, American lady. Amy Quilts, and oh, she does an awful lot of free motion, yeah. And she said to me, Jack, just keep them on your hands. Squirt a bit of like Dawn, she called it, Dawn soap, but it's like fairy liquid to us in Britain. And she said, just wash your hands with your gloves on and they come up brilliant. I mean, how they get dirty, you think to yourself, well, I don't know because I ever use them on as my fabric, but I guess it's, oh look, that one's, I've worn that thin. It's transference of, obviously, dye or whatever. But I suggest, whether you're doing stitch in a ditch or not, that you do have some rubber gloves. It's well worth it. You can buy Mashingers, or you can buy these so easy ones. I bought these because they're nice and big for me. I got big hands. But it means that you can actually keep hold of your fabric and hold it steady while you're working. So there's a tip for you new people. You don't have to, of course you don't. But definitely suggest it. Let me get in here now and start. So, having positioned myself with that in, you know, stitch in a ditch, and I'm using an ordinary foot. However, I'll change my foot. I'll change the settings on this foot that I don't want it to be so high, so steep, so deep, so what's the word for it? Heavy. I want my foot to be lighter. So I can go to my machine. Probably not with my, hang on, and say with my foot pressure, which is on auto at the moment, I can move it to like auto -3, yeah? And then I got a bit more, you know, it's not quite so heavy on the fabric. And then the idea of it is you keep that bar, I don't know if it's going to work for me. Not really. Okay. I'm just, you know, starting off and seeing where I am. How are we going? No. You see, my stitching is now showing a little bit. It won't when it's all what have you, but it's it is showing on the ditch, so I'm not happy with that foot. So I'm going to drop that off and say, nah, I don't like you. Let's work with a nice open toe foot, right? So this is a clear open toe foot. It has got metal on the back, yeah? So it's smooth nicely, but it's an open toe foot, so I can see what's going on. So just touch that, put my cotton underneath here, and I still got the lighter weight on my machine. on my pressure on my foot. Yeah, but now I can see, if I just get rid of that, exactly where my needle is going to sit. So, oh, and the other thing is, if I get rid of that, I want my stitch length to be about 3. Yeah? So now, by eye, because it's an open-toed foot, you won't be able to see this on the top one because it's already showing the other, yeah? Now, this one, and you take it steady, do not go bullet a gate, because then you'll be upset. So now, if you're using an open toe foot like that, and I'll keep going, all the way down the end. Right off and cut my thread. Now if I bring it back and I show you, yeah, that square, you can see my stitching. This square only a little bit, and that square not so much, and that square not so much. So I do enjoy working with an open toe foot because I can see what's happening, and my gloves allow me to really move my fabric the way I want it. Now, the second thing is, if you're lucky enough, let me just lift this so I can get him out. Really get him out, right? On, lift that up. On my machine, which is a Janome, oh, it doesn't really matter about that foot. Let me just put him back in his box. Where did he go? No. I can use a walking foot. So I'm just going to attach my walking foot. You can buy a walking foot that will fit any machine. I got a bit of a specialised machine here. The Janome system only accepts what they call the AccuFoot system. So my walking foot may look a little, but the good thing about it is it will accept different feet on it. But your walking foot may look different to this. Okay, that's not a problem. Make sure I put that one nice and tight. Get rid of that one. Pop that back in my box. So now, open toe foot. I'm having a little trouble getting that back under. Silly girl. Why don't you just do it from here? Right. Because this has got its own feet on the top. So I've just done that one. So I'm going to move to this one. Yeah. And now with a walking foot, pop my thing down. Test where my needle's going to come in. Yeah. It's going to come in right on that line. Again, I'm going to put my gloves on. And I know you're going to think, oh, have I got my gloves? No, of course you don't. But I'm just saying that if you want things to work out, and you expect it to work out, and for future use, it's up to you. It's an option, yeah? So now, again, This will now feed the fabric from the top and the bottom, and that's the whole point of a walking foot. It makes life easier. Yeah, so my same settings, so you can go as slow as you like, and I'm not sure at the moment whether, no, my settings are not showing, but I do have a speed bar on here which I've only got halfway, so I can't possibly go far too fast in some ways. So I just do it, and I just watch it and do it nicely, I'm hoping. I get into the end of that square, and where I wasn't quite as good as I thought I would be, I am going to have to move to that square. Can you see what I did then? A bit of a diagonal stitch. And again, I'm just trying to keep on the white rather than the darker colour as I go. And I have to say to you, these gloves make it so much easier. And here again, it's not quite right. You see, you think your stitching is fine until you get there. So I just did another little diagonal move. And I prefer to do it with a walking foot, open toe walking foot, so I can really see. Yeah, and again I'm just going to do, yeah, a diagonal stitch over. Oh, I missed it there. And off the end. Cut my threads. Okay, so now, yeah, on this one you can see my stitches. It did get better, but the walking foot, yeah, even though I had to do diagonal stitches to move, it's much better, isn't it? Now that's what they call quilting in the ditch. Alright, and you can do this. I suggest you kind of do moving out from the fabric, and obviously you don't want to do it around your applique, so stop, fasten off your stitch, and then start again if your applique is in the way, okay? But you can just quilt in the ditch on these squares one way, and then turn it around and quilt on the ditch the other way, which means that all your squares are fastened to the batting and the backing. And why do we do this, right? Well, have you ever tried washing a pillow? Yeah, an ordinary pillow, and you put it in the washing machine and it comes out clean, but as if it's had like 5 rounds with Mike Tyson. Yeah, it's all screwed up, twisted and what you, right? If that pillow, in some way or form, had some sort of quilting holding the fibres together, yeah, it would come out exactly the same way as you put it in, yeah? So that's why we quilt, so that the batting does not lift away or twist or turn or anything else when we wash it. And we want all our quilt tops, no matter what they're for, to be washable at the end of the day. And you think to yourself, oh well, if I'm only going to use this a few days a year, I don't necessarily want to be able to wash it. Oh yeah, and then your husband cuts into his pork chop and bang it off his plate, or a splash of gravy, or whatever happens to it, or you knock over a glass of wine. You don't want to throw your top out. You want to be able to put it in the washing machine, 30 degrees, wash it, hang it from the line, and it's good as new. That's what you want with a quilt top. They're all lovely washable things. I don't tend to put mine in the dryer. Yeah, I would rather hang it from the line or put it over a horse near a radiator rather than put it in a tumble dryer. Okay, that's my preference. You do whatever you like to see what works for you. But that's stitching in the ditch, alright? I mean, we're looking at it really close up. When you stand away 2 feet, you can't even see it. Yeah, that's stitching in the ditch. Now I'm going to do many more things on here for my benefit, what I like to do. Yeah, if that's all you want to do, that's absolutely fine as your first quilt, that's fine. But you may think about doing maybe a diagonal line across from one to the other. Yeah. And that's when you want to think about, well, what colour stitching do I want to use? Do I want to use pink? Do I want to use white? I'm using a blush, so it doesn't matter what I do, yeah? Or do I want it to really show and do it in a nice bright red? It's entirely up to you. So that's what I would suggest a newbie did to start with, is just quilt in the ditch. And if I can turn this over for a moment and get it on camera, put it the other way up so you see what I've already just done. Yeah, you can see I've just done 2 lines of quilting this way, and you could go on and finish it on. So that is one form of quilting. When you get to these, eventually you're going to get to, because you're going to like work from one end and then work to the other end. Yeah, when you eventually get to this lovely end piece, yeah, you might think, well, I need to do something a bit special now. Yeah, you don't have to, but you might think I want to do something special. You could use some of your fancy stitches that are on your machine if you have some. If you've got one that it's got like a line with the zigzags going out of it like this, you might think, well, I'll do that on my flower as a stem on my leaf, yeah? Or on this big bit you think to yourself, well, I might just do a meandering stitch around like this, or what have you. Or you may think, no, it's a bit too much for me, I'll stitch in the ditch down here and leave it because I'm not confident yet to do anything else. Okay, but that's fine, absolutely fine. I'm going to do some different things on mine. I think I'm going to probably do some hearts. I'm probably going to do some accent on the leaves, yeah? I might do something through here. I don't know. But that is where the artistry, if you like, of quilt making comes in, because we know we've got these lovely blocks, we know we've got this marvellous applique. So now what you do is like showing your own artistry and how you see it, yeah, to be able to quilt the top. Well, that's entirely up to you how much or how little you're confident to do as we speak. Alright, I've just begun quilting this my way. Let me just roll things up. I might have to, here, I started there. I don't know whether you can see on camera, but I've done a big heart here, small heart there, small heart there, and a big heart here. That's in the centre. Well, no, it's not in the centre, is it? That's between 2 hearts. So let me move on. Ooh, now we're in the centre, because we got 1 heart facing this way and 1 heart facing that way. So I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to use I got a ruler put on, and I'm going to use a template, yeah, to help me out. I absolutely do not expect you to do this, but this is just something for you to think about, something to you to consider, that you're going to work towards this sort of thing on your machine, and this can be done on any machine. You can do it on like your most basic machine, because all you need to do ruler work or free motion, which is exactly the same thing except without a guide, you're doing it by yourself. I'm just using a ruler as a guide. Yeah, same thing. You need to be able to set your stitch length to 0, drop your feed dogs so that everything is working independently, no feed dogs, and have something slippery under your work so that you can do it. So you can do this on any machine that just can go up and down. Alright, that's all you need to consider. I put bright red fabric, bright red stitches, thread in this so that I can see it, because I want it to show. It'll show better probably on the other side, but at the end of the day I've done bright red so that everybody can see it. So now I pick in my spot, which is, you know, in line with my other spot here, and I am just going to go up and down. I could pull up my thread, but I'm not. I'm just going to do that a couple of times so that's sealed the stitching, right? Okay, so what am I going to do first? Probably the large heart. So I want to flip that template over and say, right, let's put that behind my ruler foot. There are lines. Can you see this? There is a line on this heart, and I need to line that up. It's hooked under my foot, and I need to line that up with my fabric so I know it's straight. Okay, I don't need to draw lines or anything on my fabric because I can work with the lines that we've already got for our squares, so that's brilliant. I'm not going to work very fast with this. I work slowly with this. And yes, you want to put, this is where you really need your gloves. You put your fingers on it, hold it nice and straight. Okay, and then I use my other hand to guide me, and then we just start to move. And I just allow the template to guide me. As I say, you don't have to go fast. You just allow the template to guide you. And then I'm going to do it, switch it over the opposite side. I flipped it over, and you may notice I got like sandpaper stickers both sides that help me grip my template to the fabric. Then I just looking behind me here that my guideline is on that center line again. Hold it, hold the fabric, and then off we go again around that template, and I usually stop around about there just to check that my line is still where it should be. Okay, in case it has moved it. And the foot of my ruler foot is just resting against the template, and as I go up, with every hope in the world, it's going to end up back where I started. Okay, then I am going to do, I'm doing the big, I generally speaking do the big hearts first. So which way are we going now? We can go either way we like, but yeah. So I'll hook that under there, and behind me, I'll make sure that that is on the fabric as I go forward. On the line. Wasn't actually, so I'm just moving it. Okay. Still rested against that template as I go around. There. And I get into that cup and I'm in my seam. Flip the template over. Make sure my line is now on my, more or less, on my stitch line, so it's straight. And then holding the template with a couple of fingers, and this is why you want your machiners or So Easy gloves, okay? And then, ooh, I moved. Now I moved, which meant my template moved. Now I need to get that back into what's it. So let's come down. That's where it should be. That is not like that. So I am there. I just taken a little detour away from the ruler, just a stitch or so that I can get it straight to come back down. Alright, you've always get, you can, don't forget with these things, you don't have to just keep stitching as if your life depends on it. No, if you notice that something all of a sudden, oh, that's not right, of course, you can stop and just adjust it. Now my fingers are in the way. Just make sure I come down to where I started. Alright, so I've done the top and the bottom heart, and the sideways hearts are smaller. They were 6 by 5 inch hearts, and now I'm going to do 3 by 2 inch hearts to the side. Okay, and again from that central spot there's a line which I'm going to put on my patchwork. Oh, sorry, got the wrong side, turn it over. And there is still a line here which I put on my patchwork. And I just sew around, making sure I stop at my seam, flip it over, put it what am I doing? I want the other arm. What am I doing? Oh, I've got to think now. I want it that way, yeah? Oh yeah. Beg your pardon. No, it's still not right. So what am I trying to do, Jack? That's your top of your heart. Oh, I beg your pardon. I got a line there to keep it straight on my applique. I've just done that bit. So now I want to flip it that way. God, sometimes it makes you think, doesn't it? So now I want to keep that straight on my applique, and I want it to finish there, so it's got to come out and around, and have it come back to nestle where it started. And now I know I'm doing the outside one now. So again I got a line on it, there, for that. And that's supposed to be straight and that's supposed to be straight, which is not. So I'm just going to go and take the stitches to line it up nicely. Yep, now I know it's going to work. And I'm just going to go around. I had a blimp come up there, so I hope I haven't run out of... I think I have. Have I? No, it's alright, I thought I'd run out of bottom thread then. So flipping it over, back in, the apex of that heart. Get out of my way, you lot. Back in the apex of that heart, and I'm going to move up a stitch. Yeah. So all these things are equal. And back around to my foot. And then I'm going to press, I got a lock off stitch on mine. Without moving the fabric, I just lock off. Now, I don't know, because I heard it go there. I don't think it's a problem, but that's another heart. If I turn this, or another heart motif, if I turn this over, it's probably easier to see from the back. Okay, so I just turn that over and show you. Okay, yeah? You see the heart shape from the back? And I did one previously. Previously I did one set there, and now I've done one set there. Now that's kind of ruler work using a shape rather than using just straight lines. As you know, I like to do my straight lines if you've watched some of my other work that I've done. But that's doing a motif shape, if you like, using a ruler or a template quilting. I don't expect you to do that whatsoever. I expect you to do your stitch in the ditch if you're newbies. But this is something you think, oh, I'll work up to that. And if this is something that you're interested in, then yeah, sure, I'll do tutorials and show you all sorts of things you can do with rulers. Just leave a comment underneath, and yeah, I've got loads of quilts that I need to top quilt, so I can walk you through different things if you'd like to learn a bit more about ruler work or even free motion. Leave me a comment and then I'll know whether or not you're interested. Alright, so put my red back on because I've done some rounder leaves. So I just thought I'd show you. Let me see if I got the mic right. Yeah, I think I have. Right, little bit of free motion, and of course this is a little bit of artistry coming out now, so no, of course it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be what I managed to do. I'm going to do a heart about here. That's a stage where I would pull up my thread, pull it long, and then go back to it so that I could bury the thread into the quilt if I was doing a really posh quilt, but I'm not, so I'll just do a few more stitches in the same place which locks the stitches. Okay, so now I am going to draw a heart, and I got to think about this. How does a heart work? A heart works because it goes out like a bum, a bum curve, and then comes in at the bottom. Okay, and then my heart has to go out to a curve, a bit higher, to come back. Is that my centre? To my centre. Alright, so that's a bit of a chaotic art. Doesn't matter, this is free form now. And what I want to do inside that heart is a bit of, what should we call it? Meandering stitch, or stipple, or what do other people call it? Vermicelli, I suppose. People call it vermicelli, do they? Where you just literally wander around and make shapes, make them interesting sort of shapes. The idea is to sort of keep them more or less equidistant from the line above, if you like, and try and keep your angles and what you're doing smooth, rather than you don't want them jerky, you want your angles to be smooth. There's one in there, come to the edge and lock it off. There, so that, if you can see, is just a free motion with the meandering stitch inside it, heart. Okay, so I've done one there because I've got a big space. I think I'll do another one here, but I think this one I'll have come in a different angle. I got my thread caught under there, it's not a problem, I'll get it out in a minute. And lock off. Okay, so on that one, I did catch my thread as I went, so let me just uncatch it. Thank you. There he is. I'll cut that off. So that's my second heart, yeah, with a bit of freeform free motion inside. So I haven't got a lot of space over here, if I should I do one over there? Do you know what, I'm not going to bother. No, I'm not going to bother. And I was going to do something in here, but I'm not going to do that either. I think that's enough at the end of the day. Those couple of hearts there, I don't know, I can't remember now what I did the other end. But anyway, we're ready now. We are ready, steady, ready. Have I done it all? You could do meander in your hearts if you like. Oh, I did. Oh, I better do it then. On this one, I did a meander in the bar. So, oh, I did other things, but never mind. So I do have to put my green back on, do a meander in the bar, and then we're ready to do the binding. Yay!